This is a summary of press releases from Japanese electronics manufacturers on 19th November.
All right, so here's what we've got on tap today. We're going to start with some really cool stuff in AI and data solutions. Then, we'll see how that tech is being put to work for a greener planet. After that, we'll dive into some mind-blowing advanced engineering projects, and we'll wrap things up by bringing it all back home with a look at some new consumer tech.
First up, AI and data solutions. This is all about building the digital brains for smarter, faster systems. And we're seeing huge moves in two really important areas, healthcare and the big business world.
So, kicking things off, Fujitsu is tackling a huge problem in our hospitals, doctor burnout from just endless paperwork. They've rolled out a new generative AI at the Nagoya Medical Center, and it's got one main job: get doctors away from their keyboards so they can have more time with their patients. 70%, just let that sink in. That's how much this AI has cut the time doctors spend writing up patient discharge summaries. I mean, a task that used to take almost a half an hour now gets done in just 8 minutes. That's a game changer, giving all that time back for actual patient care. And this isn't some small, one-off project. Fujitsu's work here is really getting noticed on the world stage. The big industry analyst Gartner just called them an emerging leader in generative AI. And get this, they are the only company from Japan to get that recognition. That's a pretty big deal.
And you know, this quote from their CTO, Vivek Mahajan, really tells you everything about their game plan. They're not just making little AI tools, they're building a whole enterprise platform, and they're pulling from over 30 years of experience in computing to make it happen.
Okay, so all of this powerful AI, it needs a powerful place to store and crunch all that data, right? Well, that's where Hitachi Vantara comes in. They've just dropped a new beast of a storage solution, the VSP One-Block High-End. And it's built from the ground up for the heavy lifting that AI demands, and to be tough as nails against cyber attacks. So what we're looking at here is the bigger picture. This new hardware isn't just a box. It's a key piece that plugs right into their VSP1 platform. The whole idea is to create one unified data environment, breaking down the walls between the data a company keeps in its own building and the data it has out in the cloud. And this whole system is really built on 3 key promises. First, solid data protection. It's basically a fortress against ransomware. Second, the raw, high-octane performance you absolutely need for AI to run smoothly. And third, it's actually eco-friendly, designed to use less power, which is great for the planet and the power bill.
All right, let's switch gears. We've been in the digital world of data centers, so now let's talk about the physical world. Next up, we're looking at green tech and how these smart innovations are helping out everywhere from our farms to our factories.
So over at the huge COP30 Climate Summit, where all the global leaders meet, NEC showed off some really impressive results from its agricultural platform, CropScope. It was a chance to prove that this tech can make a real measurable difference for the environment.
The big number everyone was talking about is this: a net carbon impact of -6 tons of CO2 equivalent. Now, CO2 equivalent is just a simple way to measure all the different greenhouse gases together. And negative means this farming practice is actually pulling more carbon out of the atmosphere than it's putting in, cutting overall emissions by an amazing 23%.
So how in the world do they do that? Well, this chart here breaks it down perfectly. See, with traditional farming, you kind of just blast fertilizer everywhere. But with CropScope, it's like using a surgical tool. It uses satellite data to create these super precise maps that tell farm equipment exactly where to put fertilizer and how much. No more waste, which means way less of those harmful nitrous oxide emissions. And that idea of precision for sustainability, well, it's not just happening on the farm. It's also happening in high-tech manufacturing. Canon Marketing Japan just announced a huge new partnership. They're now the exclusive sellers in Japan for some really advanced vacuum coating tech from a German company called Von Arden. Now, I know vacuum coating sounds super technical, but trust me, this stuff is the secret sauce behind a lot of green technology. It's the process they use to create these impossibly thin films that make our solar panels more efficient, give us better and longer-lasting batteries for electric cars, and even make the sensors in our phones more accurate. It's a huge deal. Okay, next up, we are scaling up. Way, way up. We're jumping into the world of advanced engineering, where digital tools aren't just designing little gadgets, they're completely changing how we build massive things like dams and bridges faster and safer than ever before. And a perfect example of this is the Shin Maruyama Dam project. This is a seriously complex job. So, the construction company Obayashi and the tech giant Hitachi have teamed up to use something called a digital twin.
What does that mean? Basically, they've built a perfect virtual replica, like a video game version of the dam, so they can test everything out digitally before they even break ground.
And here's the really cool part. They take these incredibly detailed 3D blueprints of the dam, and they smash them together with these powerful simulations of water physics. The result is a digital model so accurate, it can predict exactly how water is going to flow around the structure at every single stage of construction. The detail they can get is just stunning. I mean, they can see things like dangerous whirlpools forming or spot areas where the water flow is too fast, all on a computer screen. By catching these risks early, they can make safer decisions, and the payoff is huge. They took a design and review process that used to take a whole year and squeezed it down to just 3 months. That is incredible.
And, to make more of these incredible projects happen, Mitsubishi Electric is investing in people. They've just opened up this new collaborative workspace in Osaka called Serendie Street. It's a place designed specifically to get customers and partners in the same room to brainstorm and build the future together. Okay, for our last section, let's bring it all home. After all that enterprise AI and massive construction, we're going to finish up with a clever new product that's designed to make our everyday lives just a little bit easier.
So this is the big question, right? Panasonic basically asked themselves, how do you take one of the most common things in every single house, the vacuum cleaner, and actually make it better?
Well, their answer is this new vacuum, the MCNX500K, and it really hits on 3 key things. First off, it's super light, just 1.2 kilograms, so it's easy to whip around the house. Second, it's smarter. It's got this cool Sugo-Tore Sensor that can actually see microscopic dust you can't, so you know for sure when something's clean. And maybe the best part? It comes with a clean dock, so you can just forget about emptying it. It does that for you automatically.
If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a like.